Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. I'm your host, Fearless Floyd. I'm back. Yay. Right. I hear you booing back there. Stop it. Anyway, today is Tuesday, October 19th, 18th, 2022. And Ann LeFlore on Trust, part 16 of 24. Yeah, we're slogging our way through this. Ann and I, and FearlessFloydShow.com. I'm also on YouTube, Telegram, BitChute, Rumble, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. I'm going to be across everything before you know it. And it'll just be that up there. That's it. That's all you need to know. Fearless Floyd Show, yahoo.com. You want to email me? Best way to get a hold of me, Telegram. Easiest way. Got a class coming up October 22nd, Saturday, 5 o'clock Central Time, U.S. time. And Sunday, 5 to 7. The following Saturday, Sunday, 5 to 7 will conclude that for the C class series of Ann LeFlore on Trust. Please join us for that, man. That is a great, awesome class. You should get ahead. So far, it'll be unreal. I've been getting blown up tonight, of course, because I want to do videos. Everybody wants to okay, well, somebody's celebrating without me, so I should be celebrating as well. So we're going to celebrate together. I'm not going to tell you why, but we're going to celebrate together. And I'm just waiting on Ann to join us because I've sent her the link. Let me double check. Things are in a bad spot. Okay, she has the link. Well, we should be good to go. And with that, I guess let me just run through this real quick. Okay, there it is. So, whoops, where it go? Of course, I want to look at it. It's not right there. There it is. Okay. This is the fearlessfloydshow.com. Tells you right here at the very top. Go to the bottom of the page. If you want to do some consultation, just scroll all the way down. There it is right there. Okay, just click X out of that. There's C class. You just click on that. You go over here, it's 22nd, click on that, 12 p.m., click on that. You confirm that. It's going to ask you some questions. You fill that out, click on that. It's all automated, and it's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's even going to give you reminders of what's coming up. But anyway, this is the class. And that's how you can enroll, or you can click on these three, and you can click on Trust Class Enrollment. And even if you hit consultations, it'll take you there as well. Click on that. Boom. Trust Class. Ann LeFlore. Click right there. Starts in 3 days, 8 hours. Are you ready? And just go down the bottom. Here's a list of people who offer consultations or past class. And our class coming up, and I will post a new class once I get that scheduled in stone with Ann on a date and time when we want to conduct that. Because we also want to do some advanced classes for you guys to get you moving, get you motivated. We need to find the cream of the crop, scoop them off, and get them up there in the advanced class. So that's basically what we're looking for. And with that, I am going to pause, and when I come back, Ann LeFlore will be here, like magic. Hello, Ann LeFlore.
Hey guys, how you doing? You know, we're always talking about trust and changing hats, so I'm going to be changing hats for the next couple videos. So you can see we can wear a lot of different hats.
Okay, well, you might as well show us. She has a matching jersey as well.
Matching jersey? No, my jersey doesn't match this hat.
Oh, it doesn't
Sorry.
match that. Oh, okay.
No, but I do have a jersey on.
I saw the jersey. Oh, I can't really see the hat because of the glare, but I saw the jersey.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Guess what, kids? We are on part. I need more fingers. We're on part 16. Ann LeFlore.
You've got your toes.
Get all of you up there. I used to be limber. I'm not that limber. Yeah, I'm probably gonna pick my nose with my little toe one time. But anyway, on to more obtuse things. We're going to share the screen. We're on part 16 and the floor on trust of a 24-part series. And well, I had it open. Yep, there it is.
Zoom is not as user-friendly as it should be. That's, I can tell you that.
Well, you got a lot of buttons. You got to click over here, click over there. You got to run around the screen a lot. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Trusts, part 16. How trusts operate and how to transfer assets to your trust. Anything you want to add before we dive in here, Ann?
No, I think the title is pretty much self-explanatory. We're going to start working more and more in trust. So it's a good idea to learn how to do more and more things with our trust.
There you go. As I alluded to in the previous video, you need to learn how to start operating as the trust for the trust and benefit from the trust all at the same time. And
Exactly.
start getting away from the public side of it. Retrain your brain. All right, here we go. Panel 2, transfer assets. There are 3 principal ways to transfer assets into the trust. We can do it by buying precious metals. We can purchase negotiable instruments, and or we can exchange or barter. There are certain guidelines to follow in a trust so that the time we transfer assets to the trust, it cannot be nullified or avoided. The trustee is the owner of the legal title to the trust property.
So guys, we can literally use the assets of the trust and use the trust property to actually benefit the trust and the beneficiaries by adding different types of instruments to our trust. Precious metals is a good one, but understanding which ones to actually give for the trust, that's going to be another story. So we're going to discuss a lot of that today here.
Yes, we are. Hopefully you'll get educated. Panel 3. The trustee cannot buy or purchase the trust property for himself, nor can he convert it for his own use contrary to the trust instrument. A lot of this deals with whether the trust property was purchased at a public, private, or judicial sale that was instituted by the trustee, because then he would have an unfair advantage. We cannot hold sales to ourselves and offer the property for our trust. This would be considered ab initio. The only way we can get property is if we can show that the interest holder assented intelligently, willfully, and without undue influence arising from the trust relationship.
Okay, guys, so what this is trying to tell you is the trust has its res already. When we establish the trust, we have to establish the trust res. So as a trustee, he's the holder of the property of the trust. He's entrusted with all the property. So literally, he cannot go into our trust and say, well, I want this coin, or I want that metal, or I want this piece of land. And here, I'm just going to transfer my personal money from the public into the trust, and I'm going to take this out of the trust. See, they can't do that. And the trustee cannot literally hold an auction for something that belongs to the trust and know what it's all about, because that's what it's saying. It's an unfair advantage. So we have real, guidelines and stipulations that we really got to follow when we're, purchasing assets and we're adding more assets into the trust. So this all has to be laid out in the corpus of the trust. So trustees don't overstep their boundaries or try to do something that they should not be doing.
And get everything in a wreck.
Well, it'll cancel the trust. It'll destroy the trust.
Exactly. Get it over.
It'll be worse than a train wreck.
Yeah, crash test dummy. Panel 4. There is only one way to sustain a sale of trust property by the trustee to himself. He must show good faith of the transaction, the consideration, a full knowledge of the facts, and an independent consent on part of the interest holder. The trustee has no problem to purchase or exchange trust property in the discharge of his duty to protect the trust. These principles also apply when it comes to selling of the trustee's individual property to the trust. This also applies to the barter exchange between the trustee and the trust. No matter what, the contract of transfer has to be fair and reasonable and untrained by fraud and undue influence.
Okay, guys, so who gives the trustee permission? The beneficiaries, because it's all going back down to the beneficiaries. So if the trustee wants to buy something that is trust property, he sort of has to get a little bit of an authorization, and he has to give the beneficiaries exactly what he's doing to make sure that he's not taking away the benefits from the beneficiaries when he's making these transactions. So this is really important. You know, there's a lot of stipulation and guidelines, especially depending on what type of trust you have and how you've written the corpus of your trust.
Okay, there we go. I actually went through here prior to this and cleaned most of this up, but it looks like I missed some stuff. All right, general guidelines. The contract of transfer need not be a complex document. The document needs the key principles of equity, and the guidelines are strictly followed. You must have all necessary warranties in the document in order to legitimize the deal. There are certain guidelines of a trust, and a trustee must follow.
Okay, so every trust needs the documentation, everything, every contract, everything. And not only that, but every time the trustee wants to do anything, he literally has to put it in the minutes of the trust. There has to be so much documentation in the trust. Trusts are pretty easy to run once you understand the principles of it and the documents. And it doesn't take a whole lot of documents to be able to, you know, buy, sell, trade through the trust. So for example, your car is in the trust, and it's the grantor's car that's in the trust. He needs a new car. So literally you're going to have to do the documentation to remove his original car from the trust, being able to trade it in on a new trust car through the dealership. So everything just has to follow right in order so that you can remove one from the trust and move a new one back into the trust.
Okay. All right. The seller intends that the buyer shall buy, and the buyer intends that the seller shall sell. You need both parties to agree to the sale and purchase, and that each party intends to exchange one item for another. The trustee must disclose to the trust before the contract is made. He must disclose every fact that he has learned in his fiduciary relation, which is material to the sale, purchase, or exchange. The trustee must exercise good faith in the transaction.
So basically, this is again where the documentation comes in, and he needs to, because he has to protect the grantor, you guys, that's it. So when he's negotiating for the trust, he has to have a way to negotiate. And then he has to literally write up the negotiations and put it inside the trust. This way, the beneficiaries can see what he's negotiating and if it's in good faith or it's not in good faith.
There you have it. Panel 7. There can be no advantages taken by misrepresentation, concealment, or omission to disclose the important information that the trustee has gained. The entire transaction is fair and open. There are a few general guidelines that we should consider when we are purchasing precious metals for common law purposes. You need to understand your objective in terms of trusteeship. Precious metals are true money. They are not an investment. As a trustee, your primary objective is wealth preservation of the trust corpus.
So yeah, you guys, the whole situation is we can do a lot of things with our trust, but as long as, you know, say we want to purchase, you know, a set of coins for our trust, a set of precious metals for our trust. We have to make sure that we're literally benefiting the trust by doing our homework to see, well, okay, is gold going to go up or will gold go down? Will we do better if we just leave the money where it is, or things like this? So it takes a little bit of, you know, working around to see what the norms are going to be, what the fluctuation is going to be, what might raise, what might lower. We don't know, but we have to try to make our best decision possible.
Okay. And panel A. It is important to know the size and grade coins you are purchasing for the trust. The size determines how much precious metals you are getting, and the grade is a critical factor. The grade actually determines the relative value within the size of the coin. If you are looking at gold, only acquire low-grade old American gold, grade AU or lower. If you can find 1850 to 1938 and is likely circulated condition, this is a good coin to purchase for the trust. This gold is exempt from U.S. gold confiscation laws.
Okay, so if you want to buy metals, you want to buy coins, you should do a lot of studying on it. You should talk to coin dealers. You should talk to precious metal dealers to figure out how to determine how much of the metals or how much of it's worth when you're trying to buy it for the trust. Weight has a lot to do with it, and everything else. Just don't go out and buy a whole bunch of gold jewelry and say, oh, look, I bought a whole bunch of precious metals and threw it in my trust. It doesn't work that way. The only type of metals you should be buying are different types of coins in circulation and stuff like this.
Okay, I want to go over a few of these things, and the reason I do bring this up in such detail, because I grew up with a family who owned a company here in Houston called US Coins. And they went from just a little small wing of a mall jewelry coin store, basically. I mean, that's all they sold was coins, to where they own their own building, and they're one of the biggest precious metal or antique artifact, historical artifacts, currency, et cetera, in the world. So this is a little pet peeve thing of mine. Now, the size determines how much precious metals you are getting, and the grade is a critical factor. So basically, let's just talk about silver, because silver is affordable for everybody, especially right now at roughly $22 an ounce. So the size, now you're talking about buying currency, so let's just use the US silver dollar as our cornerstone for determining this hypothetical situation. So you would say purchase 1 ounce US silver coins that are pre-1938, or is this just these dates pertain to gold?
Those dates mostly pertain to gold, because during that time they couldn't, like confiscate the gold, or they couldn't, do anything with the gold.
Right.
Anything after those dates is when they started to be able to take it away from people.
Right. Yeah, 1938. That's a key year. That was like towards the end of all the New Deal acts by FDR. And okay, wrong mouse. All right. So size. So you can pick up what they what I consider junk silver, which are heavily circulated U.S. minted coins like dimes. They even made some silver nickels for a while that I just recently found out about, as well as quarters, half dollars, and silver dollars. So that's what you're determining when you say size determines how much precious metals you're getting, and the grade is a critical
Like
factor.
this,
Pardon me?
like something like this, an old
Well,
silver coin.
no, we can't see it because you have the screen on the. Oh, I do. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Like what? I don't
Like
know.
an old silver coin.
Right. Okay.
Believe it or not, I found this here in Tahiti when we had one of our gardens. I dug
Oh,
it up.
oh, wow, that's cool. Well, you
Yeah,
expressed
it's one of the really old ones.
right, and the reason I
Yeah.
expound upon this so heavily is because you strictly expressed that it be currency, coins for currency, and not what they call rounds, which would be, Olympic coins or, like a presidential series of coins or something like that, that are not for uh, circulation.
Yeah, usually a lot of people will just buy the minted coins, that have been in circulation to put in their trust. They'll use them also for their silver certificates. A lot of people just will take two silver half dollars like this, and they'll start funding their trust with two silver half dollars. So this is one way you can fund a trust too, is with different silver coins.
Okay, so if you had a kilo gold bar, would that be, could that fund your trust, or would it have to be?
Yeah, you can fund your trust with that too.
Okay, all right. So you could also do that as well with
Yeah.
graded gemstones, precious stones.
Yeah, you could. There's not as many people who fund the trust with, gemstones or stuff like that. But I'm sure it's going to be more popular sooner or later.
Right. Well, if you're like me on the cusp of the RV, you may become a trust fund baby at age 60 as a senior.
Oh, well, then I'm going to be joining you because I am really one of those. I'm going to be a trust fund baby.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. One of my friends who's like heavily connected in that arena, that's what I was talking to on the phone, just got back from Papados, which is a large Mexican food chain here in town, actually across the nation, celebrating.
Oh, you guys, I knew the RV was coming. I swear, when I had to search the other day for Title 12 95A, and it's gone. It's closed out. It's omitted. They don't have it any longer. And this deals with gold and silver and being able to transfer it. And it also deals with the IRS. And they just omitted it on the 8th of October. So look up Title 12 USC 95A, guys. Gonna get a nice big surprise.
Yeah, nice big surprise. Okay. So anyway, she almost guaranteed me that the next 2 weeks we'll be rocking and rolling.
I've heard some really good stories. Yep, right on that line.
Yeah. Well, they just came out and said that I just read the article that they're paying out 800 million of 3.1 billion in depressed farm loans.
Wow.
So that's supposed to be what, one of the first things right before the bondholders get paid is that. that the farm loans and farm bonds and all that get taken care of. That's why she went out and celebrated. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, what started all of this so long ago is the farmers. The farmers went after, all of this forever.
Yep.
Only makes sense that they're the first ones getting the payout.
Right. Okay. So basically you could, and I don't have them in my pocket, they're upstairs. You could actually go buy dimes, pre-1965 dimes. They're 90% silver. And if you go to a high quality shop like US Coins over here off of I-10 in Wirt, they have a machine. I think it costs like $250,000. And they can put any metal on there, coin, bar, doesn't matter. And like within probably 20 seconds, it pops up on the screen, tells you every metal and how much percentage is in that metal, whatever you just scanned.
Guys, keep in mind, you've got silver sets. I mean, think about your great grandmother and her silver, eating utensils, silver trays, silver coffee sets, all that pure silver. And it has a grade on the bottom of it. You can add all that to your trust too, you guys. I mean, it funds your trust, especially if it's silver.
Right. And there's different grades, like sterling silver is one grade.
But you guys, there's a lot of people who get sterling silver and silver plated mixed up. There is silver charts to tell you how much silver is in each item. And there is numbers and serial numbers on top grade silver.
Yep, just like I told you that US Coins, they have that machine. So like if you took a set of sterling silver flatware over there that you wanted to sell or get appraised for insurance purposes, they would just like put one at a time on there and determine whether it was silver plated or, pure sterling silver or whatever grade it is. All right, we're going to move on. Panel 9. But anyway, just to cover that, my recommendation, in my opinion, sterling silver, US minted coins, pre-1965, US minted silver dollars, just get Morgans or peace dollars. And I believe that's pre-1933. So last year they produced the peace dollar.
Mm.
And if you just stick with that, you'll be okay. And, it's easy to fund. You want to get gold, that's a whole nother topic. We'll get onto that. Something else. We can do a video on that. All right, panel 9. You should pay attention to the delivery time. And you're talking about ordering this and having it delivered to you.
Yeah, see, like sometimes people will, go online and they'll order from a silver warehouse or a silver distributor.
Right.
And and it depends on that, how long the delivery time is. If it's too long, then don't order. I mean, if it should be right around 2 weeks for the time processing and getting it to you.
Right. Now you throw a lot of grading in here now, because you said this wasn't an investment, but when you start throwing in gradings like this.
It is an investment. So what I'm trying to get at is like, you're investing in the silver and you're investing in the gold. And what's going to happen is you're taking the assets from your trust and you're moving the assets out of the trust to purchase the silver, which you're going to be moving into the trust. So basically, you have to make sure that what you're buying is going to go up in value and not down in value, because you don't want to lose the assets of the trust. You want to gain the assets of the trust.
Okay.
You want to multiply it.
Right. The only reason I bring that up is because 2 panels ago, you stated precious metals are true money. They are not.
They are true money. They are true money.
I know, but the second part of that sentence was they are not an investment.
No, they're not. It's an asset. See, an investment would be in property.
Okay, well, you just said they were investments just a second ago. That's why I went back to that.
Okay, well,
I'm not
like
trying
an
to trick you
investment,
up. I'm
yeah,
just, yeah, I'm
no,
just trying to get it clarified so we don't have to address it
yeah.
later.
Okay, so you're investing in the precious metals. So, but you're investing in a form of money. You're not investing in a property. So this, you would be using this as an asset in the trust. So later on, if you want to invest in a property, as the metal rises and it grows in value, you can use that metal to go out and buy property to move property into your trust.
Okay. So if you order it online, there's many reputable precious metal dealers out there. Stay away from rare gold coins that are graded MS64 or higher. What is MS64?
It's just their grading that they're using. Those are, more, I can't remember what they were, but I know they had to do with some sort of weird coin, I think it was like, I can't remember.
Never heard of MS64. I mean, you have excellent, mint, near mint, very good, good, poor.
Yeah.
That's the numismatic scale. So that's why you start throwing out all this arcane stuff. That's, yeah, start confusing people. All right, these type of coins are not suitable for the corpus, preservation, or common law purposes of the trust. Make sure the merchant does not grade his own coins in-house. You should never convert all the assets of the trust into precious metal holdings. Try to stay between 10 to 50% of your portfolio in precious metals or coin. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, because you see, there is a lot of people out there who do grade their own coins. So you really do want to stay away from that. This is just, there's coin dealers out there. There's people out there who are going to want to fund their trust in anything besides just assets or what they're calling fiat currency or whatever. So this is another way that you can fund your trust.
Excuse me.
Actually, it's a really good way because, if we really look at it, one of the biggest silver distributors just closed their door. They have no more silver. So,
Yes.
And
guys,
things are going to happen, quick.
Stay away from silver certificates. And
yeah.
My opinion, if you possess a gold or silver certificate or any kind of paper certificate, you need to redeem that immediately for your tangible asset, whatever that is. So if it's gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, doesn't matter. Get the metal in your hand. Possess it. Piece of paper.
When you're buying this, don't allow them to give you a certificate. You want the metal. You want the coin.
Live by my old motto. If it ain't in your hand, it's not yours. All right. Issuing certificates and bonds. Trustees are allowed to issue certificates of beneficial or capital interest or other obligations to any person they choose. We have a total of 100 units each, or 100 units of beneficial interest and 100 units of capital interest in the trust. It is up to the trustee how he issues these shares or certificates.
Okay, so the thing is, for beneficiaries, they can issue a certain amount of, capital interest shares in the trust. So they can split it up between the beneficiaries. They can choose one beneficiary to issue all 100 units, but that doesn't seem feasible if you have more than one beneficiary. And it depends on the corpus of the trust also, how many shares beneficiaries will receive. Because when the person is dead and the trust is split up, it goes on those shares that they're holding. So it's going to all depend on what you want to do. But anyhow, when you issue all of this, you honestly have got to keep records. Everything has got to be recorded. So no matter how you distribute anything, you have to keep records of it.
Yes, absolutely. Records are going to be, let's put it this way. The devil is in the details, and you want your records as accurate and detailed as possible to cover your ass, just in case you do get some type of accusations of misuse of fiduciary responsibilities or some, you know, who knows? People get real jealous when it comes to opulence. We'll put that as fair because that looks different for many different people. Now, when she talks about the 100 units, okay, they were having a conniption fit over this in our trust class. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, already.
100 units is 100 shares. Okay. And the whole thing is, let me explain to you, depending on your trust, because you're the one who feeds the trust. It's your energy, it's your value, it's what belongs to you. So in there, you can dedicate how much a unit is or one share is. So I usually try to keep it at between 10,000 to 500,000. There is people who will issue a $1 trillion share or 1 trillion certificate, which, you know, it means in the end, do you have $1 trillion to, you know, reimburse that certificate with interest? So think about it when you're, you know, dedicating how much each share is going to be, or each unit is going to be.
There you go. Panel 11. If the trustee issues these certificates, they must be recorded in the minutes of the trust. If there are more than one trustee for the trust, the board of trustees must agree on the distribution of the interest. No matter what, they have to be recorded in the minutes of the trust and also the record act of the trust. When you distribute the interest holder name and address must be registered in the record act of the trust. It is important that the trust keep records and minutes on all transactions of the trust.
Okay, so you have your minutes every time you do something. Say you want to open a bank account, you put it in the minutes. So you want to distribute some certificates, you want to do different things like this. So what you're doing is you're literally, you know, going through the trust and you're literally, you know, identifying this through the trust. So there is a record act. Inside the record act is literally where you have the name, how many shares, the address, the phone number. So you have a complete identification of the person. And you have to keep complete records of it, guys. That's the end of the story.
You know, as you were stating that, I was looking at my day planner and I was thinking to myself, huh, that would be a very simple way to capture the minutes of what you're doing in your trust with a day planner.
I suggested ledgers. I suggested somebody go get one of those old ledger books that, you know, used to be I think they had a green around it and a brown binding. It was a thick, you know, hardcover book, old ledger books that they used to, you know, record everything in stores. I do believe they still sell them, or I might be wrong.
Yeah, you can
ledger
find
book
them.
is a good way to keep notes too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh. Yep, that's an easy way to do it. Okay, kids, jumping into panel 12. Capital interest or capital certificates work on a barter exchange with investors that is called exchangers. Anyone the board of trustee wishes to barter with can use this method from the trust. The trustee will be responsible to determine the number of units they wish to invest or exchange for the property or investment into the trust. Each time you do this, the exchange must present a written proposal. The exchanger, all right, each time you do this, the exchanger must present a written proposal. Okay. Any negotiation that takes place will need to be recorded in the minutes. This includes if you have refused to take the proposal or even if you have accepted the proposal.
Okay, so let's say that you want to buy an interest in the company for your trust, and you want so much of an interest in the company. They don't really want to sell the interest. What they want to do is they want to change interest, because your trust is doing well. They understand your trust, and now they're going to offer you so much of their company for so many interests of your company, and then you're going to change just certificates of paper. That's how it works. So you have to get, a really good detail of what they want to do with you and what they're offering you before you do this in the trust. And then you record it in the minutes. Some people won't accept the change because sometimes the stipulations inside are not not for the benefit of the trust, or in the long run, it'll harm the trust. So if they deny it and they've already started negotiations, then it still goes in the trust minutes.
There you go. Panel 13, bonds. If the trust issues a bond, it is merely an obligation or promise to pay money or do some sort of an act. If the trust issues a bond, it only needs to issue this bond in accordance to the particular transaction to back up some sort of a performance or a contract to raise capital from outside investors. This is a form of an IOU. This document must show some sort of an obligation to pay some fixed amount of money or services at a definitive time, and it must state interest.
Okay, guys, what do they do? What do governments do? What do schools do? They sell bonds. What are war bonds? Selling bonds. So this is, our trust can do this also to earn money of the trust. So if we want to invest in a large, piece of property and we don't have enough money, or we don't have, the needed assets on hand, we can literally sell bonds, just like school boards and governments and stuff like this. But if we're going to sell the bonds, then we need to make sure that we list all the stipulations on the bonds and what we're selling them for. That's one way we can use bonds. Another way is a surety. I don't want to get too deep into bonds because I could go on forever doing bonds for the win and telling all about bonds, but sureties are another way we can use bonds. We can use the surety of a bond, to put down on something or to guarantee something and use it for our word.
All right. Panel 14. Trustees can exchange for capital interest. And this is probably an important panel, so pay attention to this one. In a trust, there are no rules that stops a trustee of the trust exchanging his individual property for capital interest in the trust. There are also no rules that stops a trustee from holding beneficial interest either in the trust. The only rule is that either transaction will be sustained as non-voidable if it clearly appears to be free of fraud. If you commit fraud, then it is possible that your trust can be dismantled because of a foolish failing of the control test. Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay, so say that you have 3 or 4 different properties. You've already seeded your trust. You've already moved 1 property or 2 properties into the trust. You're starting to build up your assets in your trust. Your trust is starting to grow. So now what you can do is, if you have another piece of property, you can literally move that piece of property into the trust, and the trustee will give you so much of an interest of the trust to have that property in the trust. So say that you have a property that's worth $350,000. They could offer you 10 shares of capital interest at $200,000 a share, and you could literally move your title of your property into the trust and receive an interest of the trust back. That certificate will be yours. So when the trust dissolves or the grantor is dead, then you have a chance to recover your earnings from the trust. And it does grow because it has interest on it. And as the trust grows, remember, you're receiving a piece of the trust.
Go. Panel 15. There it is. There seems to be a lot of express trusts out there, which are considered dead corpses of trust because they made this very mistake. Make sure all your transactions are in equity and that all transactions are recorded in the minutes. It is important to run and operate this trust in equity and in honor. It is not a good idea for a trustee to hold the majority of interest in the trust. This is not a good idea for an interest holder to hold the majority of the affairs or the res of the trust.
You guys, there's a lot of trusts that fail because they didn't follow the rules and they did something really ridiculously stupid. It kills the trust. And as a trustee, you're not supposed to hold but maybe 10 to 15% of the interest of the trust. As a beneficiary, you're not supposed to hold the majority of the interest of the trust. It all has to be, even worked out a certain percentage. So be really careful when you're assigning things. Don't go crazy and say, well, I'm the trustee, I'm going to take 85% of the trust. Well, you can't really do that because then that doesn't leave anything for the beneficiaries. And who are you supposed to protect? The beneficiaries of the trust.
All right. Panel 16. You never want the trustee to hold the majority of control over the trust or the rest of the trust. This could cause him to derive the sole benefit of the trust. The trustee is the owner of the legal title of the trust property, as well as the equitable title to the property. This would make the trust his alter ego, which might cause him to take advantage of the trust and the beneficiaries. Could get all Harvey Weinstein on you.
There's a lot of people out there that do this. They just get this big head on them when they're put in charge and they just go crazy with it. And they want to be the control freak.
It is.
Does that sound like somebody that's trying to control us now, called a government, govern over us?
The government.
Yeah.
It is best if a trustee owns a small interest in the trust and not the majority of the trust interest.
Yeah. I mean, a trustee can own 10, 15% of the trust interest. He's got to leave the majority for the beneficiaries to own. That's the end of the story. So, and he's got to leave a lot of it also so that he can use the interest of the trust to bring in more assets of the trust, because he might need some of that interest of the trust to, make some deals. So if you're a beneficiary, don't get greedy and don't sign yourself everything.
What? Don't get greedy.
No, don't get greedy.
Don't get greedy. Oops. Okay. Got off here. Hang on. Okay. And panel 17. Wrapping it up. Talking about that rascal. Trust give us different opportunities to move assets into our trust. We have the possibility of issuing certificates for our trust. We can issue bonds for our trust. We can use the trust assets to buy precious metals for our trust. No matter what we choose to do, we must operate in honor and in equity. It is important to keep records and minutes of the trust and all transactions for the trust.
This is what we've been talking about for so long. Trustees have the most responsibility. So if you're setting up your trust, you can be the grantor and the trustee. So who would you trust more but yourself? But that's only in revocable trust or express trust. Now, irrevocable trust, all you get to do is set it up and you're relying on somebody else to take care of it for you. So you have to understand who you can be when you want to be inside of a trust. So there's different roles that you play and there's different jobs. But every trust cannot exist unless you have a grantor, a beneficiary, and a trust. And you know what? You cannot be all three. I'm so sorry. There's many people that say they can and say that I said they can. But I never did say you can be a beneficiary. I said you can benefit from the trust as a beneficiary, not being a beneficiary. Because think about it, guys. If you're a beneficiary and you're the grantor, what happens when you die? What are you going to benefit from? Absolutely nothing. Because when the grantor dies, you die too because you're the beneficiary. You're all in one. So, you know, you do need beneficiaries of the trust. I'm, you know, so sorry to tell you this, but you will have to assign some beneficiaries. That's it.
Here, you tell it. That's it.
Well,
All right, because that's not it. We have a what, 7 more parts?
yeah, there's 7 more parts coming up, guys.
But I actually did that math in my head. I didn't even have to get out my calculator.
Oh, on your hand? Okay, 24. Let me see. I got 2 and 4,
Yeah.
and I'm on 17. Oh, take away that and that. Oh my God, I still have 7. 2 and 4. Take away my 17. I still have 2 and 4.
Y'all got that right. Y'all saw that? I know y'all did. I did. All right. Okay.
Sorry about that, Floyd. It
That's
just sounded funny.
That's cool. Okay, so we're gonna do the next one. It's almost the top of the hour.
Yeah, it's not taking us very long. Let's go
Okay.
for it.
All right, cool. Let me polish this one up, get the next one cranking. I'll send you the link.
You're gonna send me a new link?
Yep.
Okay, talk to you in a minute.
Give me 5 minutes to get all this out.
Okay.
Reset up.
Okay.
All right. Say bye. I'm almost too good, aren't I? FearlessFloydShow.com. Go check us out. Enroll on our new class with Ann LeFlore. Fine, gracious, precious host, co-host for the Ann LeFlore on Trust. And we got this one in the can. We're getting there. 24. We're on our way. I can't believe it. I will be shocked and amazed that I actually did 24 parts of a 24-part video. But I did have help. So I did get some prodding. Thank you, Ann, for that. Hit us up, man. We're on YouTube, Telegram, Rumble, BitChute, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Waiting on you. Come on, leave a comment below, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. And thank you for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next one. And I believe that would be part 18. We're almost there. We're getting there. 7 more to go, kids. See you in the next one. Appreciate you being here. And y'all have a good week.